very much. Representative Jake Weekly.
I know this gentleman.
Here. This is actually his hearing. I just didn't say that.
So he can't be fined for being
I'm a sweet boy now.
Well, he had a great distance to
You know,
travel.
he's a big guy now. And when he comes to Harrisburg, he represents Pittsburgh. It's his way or the highway. So he said, we're going to Pittsburgh. And you see, this is where I'm at. I don't necessarily plan to spend the whole day there. But I wanted to make sure that my young mentoree gets off to the right track. There's a couple of things you said that I thought were interesting. I had shared with Karen yesterday, and sometimes I have a bad habit of not writing things down, and I got short on it yesterday. I was watching a judge, a retired judge from California, who was taking the same position that you say Buckley and them were taking. And he said the only way that he could find enough courage to speak about it was after he retired. He also felt that the amount of money that is being poured into this quote unquote war on marijuana, not war on drugs, on marijuana, certainly has been way off the mark. He had talked about this guy's name, Manson. He said Manson's locked up in jail in solitary confinement, and they had to move him for selling drugs.
Charles, really is.
So he said Manson can get a hold of it. What's going to stop somebody from on Fifth Avenue from getting it? You know, so he felt that the alternative programming and support systems certainly was the way to go.
Billions of dollars, sir. Billions.
The number one cash.
And I did not want to touch upon this because I did not want to appear to be solicitous, but it is a fact that needs to be mentioned. And that is that the number of minority groups, African American, Latino, and so on, that are being arrested and booked on these things, the overwhelming majority of which, by the way, are for possession, not even use, right, for possession and so on, is 2, 3, 4 times as high as it is in the white community, and you know that's very bothersome too. It may not be the primary reason, but it gives you pause and makes you wonder what's going on here too, and what are cops looking for at the bus, and don't they have more important things to do than arresting people for having a little bit of pot?
Well, you know, it's interesting you would say that, because he also said that he watched his caseload for homicides decrease, shrink.
Yes.
And it wasn't because there was less homicides, it's because there was less resources. That the money was being spent in the wrong place. If you chasing somebody around with a joint or a nickel bag of joint, and somebody just killed somebody, you don't have the resources to put your staff on your case. I mean, the last thing I want to say to you is that, of course, you see, I have taken a position on this, right? And you know, but he also talked about the hemp industry. The industry, not just the joint. And I thought it was interesting for him to say that ethanol, you can get a higher burn out of ethanol by using hemp as opposed to corn.
If I may, sir, be presumptuous enough to just, can you open up that one door too? This has been a favorite subject of mine.
Okay.
Ethanol. The whole world drinks. Drink. Because priests and rabbis and ministers drink, right? And school teachers drink, and our parents drink. Everybody drinks. Alcohol is killing people. I haven't seen homicides and accidents and suicides related to marijuana, but boy, I'd like to have one hair on this bald head for every homicide, accident, and suicide that I have seen that is attributable to somebody's use of alcohol, the victim and or the assailant. And nobody cares about it. That's okay. Drink, and drink. That's all right. But God forbid that marijuana should be out there. It is so absurd. It is, I mean, really, I mean, it's almost like we're sitting around.
I guess you can tell nobody in here is going.
And I'm just saying because Jake has never touched, any touch but well, anyway, that's the story.
Well, look, it's been a pleasure for me to meet you.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your courtesy.
You didn't know I was watching you, you know. But I don't know what to present to. We can ask any questions of you, and I'm going to turn the meeting over to you.
Well, I want to thank my colleague, Chairman Myers, for allowing for this hearing to be held out here. I actually had it on my calendar for 3:30 for today, so I must have mistyped it or so on and so forth. So I appreciate you taking it and running. I just have, and I came in after your testimony, and I didn't really get a lot of your testimony, but I did want to make sure that I asked this question because it was one that was given to me a couple of weeks ago, and so help me understand. This is, for me, this is more of an issue of trying to figure out the facts of why it's valuable to do it or don't do it. But many have said, and I know we're really debating the concept of medical marijuana, but some have said that if you were to legalize marijuana, it is just a slippery slope around something that you really, from a policy perspective, you can't necessarily regulate. How would you respond to the concept or the ideology that legalization of marijuana in any capacity, one, sets the stage up for society to start to slide down this slippery slope, and where does it begin?
Well, first let me address that. Representative Wheatley, from a medical, pathological, physiological, and psychological standpoint. Marijuana, which is a mild hallucinogen, categorized analgesics and sedatives and tranquilizers and depressants and antidepressants and anxiolytics, etc. It's a mild hallucinogen. It does not lead to the kind of physical addiction and tolerance that these other drugs. You take some today, and then you take some more and more and more. The first case I think I ever did when I was starting my training in Baltimore, I walked in one day and there's former Stiller Big Daddy Gene Lipscomb. And how much he said could this guy have handled, and we came to learn that he wasn't much of a drug user, but there he was dead. It's unpredictable, and that is another problem. So from a medical standpoint, that argument is faulty because marijuana does not lead to that kind of physical dependence and what we call tolerance, the need for the body to get more and more. Now, is there any kind of a psychological dependence? That is conceivable because people who use drugs, you can argue, have some psychological need. And I personally believe that people should, not use any kind of drug. That's always been, my perspective. And somehow, I grew up in Lower Hill, Jake. I went to Fifth Avenue High School, and we never had drugs, and we did okay. Poor kids, and 70% African Americans, and nobody used drugs, right? Really, it's another world. So I don't need drugs. I didn't need it then. I don't need it today. But it's not that kind of drug. From a legal perspective, and that kind of argument, slippery slope. Well, then we've already addressed this on the slippery slope business of using drugs and compounds, across the board. And those are very slippery because they slide all the way into the realm of Hades. That's how far they slide down the precipice. They go all the way down there, okay? Those are the drugs. So the slippery. So what do you mean by slippery slope? Somebody uses. I know there's a lot of people. You use marijuana today, and tomorrow you're using heroin. That doesn't work. It's a fallacious argument. And as I say, when you look around what's happening in the country, and you look around what's happening in the world, etc., and Chairman Myers has touched upon the economic aspect and also the criminality and then you see all of these brutal killings and so on. It's all related, to this incredible profit motive. So these are other things we might say of an ancillary nature that need to be logically considered and thrown in to the overall project you folks will be addressing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Representative Whitney. Thank you.
When you go home, call somebody in California and tell them to vote for Proposition 19.
19. Okay.